So the update details are here for patch 3.5. Downtime will begin at the usual times and last for about 4 hours. This update will bring the new Halloween event, some daylight saving time adjustments, server transfers, some bug fixes and UI updates, and the massive weapon skill changes, including those orb nerfs. A whole bunch of items have also been adjusted, some changes, nerfs, fixes, including some tier 3 armor sets. There'll be new Archbosses and Archboss weapon upgrades and buffs, some guild changes, and a few other notable adjustments. So let's cover everything in this video. Keep in mind, I have covered a bunch of it in previous videos as per the Korean patch notes, but it would be interesting to see what differs. And I can also highlight everything new that's coming, including the new trial, the Korean shop update, and the event rewards. So let's begin with what they have to say about the Haunted Harvest. Well, honestly, not much. They say they will have a dedicated article later this week. I have no idea why, and it seems rather silly to me that they would post the article after the event already started. The Korean devs at least post their far more in-depth article at least a day before the update. If you were here last year for the Halloween event, then you may notice that it's been changed a bit. You won't nearly have to run the dungeon as often, simply using these candy corns to open the chests at the end to get these dimensional pumpkins, to be able to spend them at the store here. And the wandering NPC pretty much just gives you what you need to craft the food, and that's about it. I'll show him later when it gets nighttime here. But ultimately the event seems to be a bit more underwhelming than at least the first time we had it. With daylight savings in Europe, things will be a little bit wonky until we get the real world adjustments, with local reset being 1 hour earlier. And this would affect dynamic events, riftstones, boonstones, bosses, etc. If you're on a hyperboost server, you'll be able to transfer to a legacy server after this update, but you will not be able to transfer to any new servers after you do that. As for the general updates here, they're improving the trait UI, along with actually displaying how many blessings you're going to use, and items that are locked should properly appear as darkened or grayed out, rather than being displayed there and only showing an error message when you try to use it. With Da Vinci's favor, you'll be able to summon a cooking material merchant. There's now a search function for your inventory and storage, as you can see here already in the Korean server, if I want to look for Stellarite I can. Additionally, in the Mirror Boutique, there's also a new search function. On your character sheet, you can also now select Show Cloak or Not. That was promised a long time ago. You can chat in photo mode. You can properly select stealth allied players to target them. They fixed Valley of Slaughter, his AoE attack range. And they supposedly fixed that bug in the raid, the first boss, where he wasn't spawning the lightning orbs and you could just skip the mech. I mean, they've said they fixed that multiple times and still didn't, so I don't really know how promising this sounds. I'm sure many of us enjoy just skipping that entirely, even in Nightmare. And they made some controller fixes with the UI in terms of party matchmaking, leaving battlegrounds, and the battlegrounds matchmaking pop-up disappearing accidentally and then giving you a penalty. But then looking at all these weapon changes, we've gone through them before already, even in my previous video. And yeah, a slight nerf to crossbow's nimble leap, immune effect, the damage improvement and weak point shot to shields, some dagger buffs against monsters like with inject venom, brutal incision, frenzied sword dance, some great sword buffs as well to raging frenzy, death blow being able to reset the cooldown of this ability and also giving it a damage boost against monsters, some pretty huge longbow buffs, sniping dealing more damage against monsters, brutal arrow gaining a buff against bosses, steady aim getting a critical damage boost, but then those orb nerfs. Stellar Dash, pretty heavy, 15% nerf to its main damage, 30% nerf to its orb effect damage, but Void Stash gets a monster damage buff, so does Interstellar Explosion. Supernova Collapse gets nerfed for its oppressive 0 movement, now it's just 80%, and then some Orb Mastery nerfs. This is down to 20 max, this is down to 9 max, 25%, And yeah, we'll need to do more testing to see how bad those changes will be in terms of how much of a reduction in damage, but it should put Orb and Crossbow at least more comparable to the other top classes, at least closing the gap a bit. Spear gets some damage buffs as well on Vicious Fury, Brutal Fury, Cyclonic Fury, Sword and Shield, a buff to this spec on Counter Barrier, and then some item changes. They're all listed here, like Mordecai getting fixed to no longer ignore target's defense, Tevin Daggers, you can't use PvE enemies to reset the cooldown on your camouflage. The Azrael sword has been buffed to 250. Cornelius now having the effect to reduce target's bonus damage. Some item fixes here then as well. And the tier 3 armor sets, they can now be affected by buff duration. The duplicated mana cost efficiency on the Blood Knights, this should be Blood Hunter. That duplicates now health regen instead. Your Flashfire set will have a cooldown 10 seconds. The Fallen Dynasty set can have up to 40% heavy attack damage. This still in general doesn't make it the best to use in PvE, as you'll still want Blood Hunter because it's leather and you get the material effect stats. But in PvP, yeah, this looks kind of huge on most classes because heavy attack is generally a lot more valuable there, and you may want the extra survivability through those material effects and through that extra strength that you may be wanting to get anyway. Sure, it's going to depend on the class. Some classes still want to go completely glass cannon, and Blood Hunter can be better if you're just running a crit build, but at least makes it more competitive. And the Steel Juggernaut set is getting that endurance buff, and it also includes magic endurance. Battlegrounds spawn camping should be kinda fixed, and AFK player indicators have been added. I guess it doesn't really help other than highlight who's AFK because there's no like fill in for matches. If somebody quits or leaves, that's it. Nobody's going to replace them. Archbosses and Archboss weapons. So there'll be new Ascended Archbosses. Ascended Cordy and Ascended Della's Noah. They haven't added more time slots as when we have these Archboss events. It's still Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday and Wednesday. It just means it'll be a lot longer before you get like normal Della's Noah and normal Cordy. But they are also boosting the health of Queen Belandir and Tevent, so they don't die in 3 seconds. And they are giving the ability to upgrade the Archboss weapons to tier 3, as I showed in my previous video with these new materials from the Ascended Archbosses. That boosts the skill effect and the base damage and stats on these things. This also comes with a buff to the tier 1 Archboss weapons, and they are adding that ability to convert the skill core back to the original weapon if you wanted to. You just will be losing all the traits if you're switching between one that you've made into a skill core and then this. You're basically just getting a new weapon entirely. No traits other than one random. Housing's getting a few updates here, and so are guilds and guild rewards. You can see some new contracts, and now the ability to buy noble polished crystals, chaos prisms, unlock stones. Not a lot, but it's at least something extra. And then some localization fixes like language text, altering the description of the Cornelius blade, and so on, including that orb passive, which some people were confusing, saying how it should give health and not just shield health. But yeah, that's ultimately it for the patch notes. Again, we're getting that new Halloween event we can expect tomorrow to earn some extra rewards. But yeah, you'll pretty much just get to run the dungeon once per day with the candy corn that you get through the check-in event. Just one per day over the 3-week event. So you can of course save them and do them all in one day, but the rewards are not that great. Some cosmetics, 5% chance you get some Solent or ornate coins, and then you'll get 15 dimensional pumpkins and the tombstone. Those dimensional pumpkins, you'll go to the store here and you'll spend them to buy these rewards, like chaos prisms, entropy shards, but it's so limited, like only 4, only 8. If you want to get your food for the event, you can see the new cooking recipes here for your abyss token farming, and this pumpkin cake just for general PvE. For this, you need the cooking pumpkin, which is a new thing, and you will obtain it from the wandering merchant if I can find him around here. Ah, there he is. You can spend some Solent and you'll get those cooking pumpkins. You can also get some cooking bait to go fishing. And as per the Koreans dev post on this event, you can use that bait to catch some special fish, this jellyfish, which is a movement speed and attack speed buff. That's very nice, along with max stamina and stamina regen. Or this other fish, which just gives plus 50 to species damage and 10 boss damage reduction, along with skill damage resistance. Very good. You can use those new event amatoys to go gathering. They'll have a boost anywhere, and you can find the orange trapped, and he can allow you to purchase these cosmetics. And there should be an event side codex you can do to get this night pumpkin doll. But of course, we can wait a bit later for their own dedicated article, and we can see everything with the event and maybe something changed when it releases tomorrow. As Tico mentioned, we will start getting the new trials for the new 4-star dungeons. So this week it's going to be Fate's Abyss. Week after that it's most likely going to be the Colossal Colosseum. So be prepared to know at least the tier 1 mechanics if you want to be going for those achievement rewards. In terms of the Korean new battle pass, they still get like more unlock stones than we do. They're getting 300 on the paid track, but still only 10 entropy shards and 30 chaos prisms. That's generally the usual. So we can compare this to our new battle pass tomorrow. And the thing that kind of irks me about this new Halloween event is the fact they just released this new heroic pass, and you can see how generous they were with the amount of these reagents. Of course, you need to spend some extra lucent to get them, but it seems such a skimpy amount when all they give you is 4 and 8 via a 3-week event. They could at least give like 30. As for the Korean shop, this does showcase a new bundle here with that new Halloween skin and the skins for the morphs. We can have a closer look at those tomorrow, as well as we should be getting them on the global server. There is actually quite a few different outfit designs you get with the skin here. It's kind of cool. And yeah, releasing with it is also all of those new weapon skins. And if you're interested, these new furniture housing sets, which can be quite cool to decorate your space. With this one here then as well, with this ornamentation. You can do some creative Halloween decoration if you wish, just at the cost of quite a bit of lucent. And they're releasing these teeny little things you can decorate in your house as well. But yeah, that's ultimately it for tomorrow's update. I will make a highlight video, more details on the event for the global server and everything new that changed there. And we'll be able to get into testing to see how impactful the new changes are in terms of the weapon balancing. So overall, thanks for watching. A massive thank you to all these channel members for your added support, and we'll see you guys around.